Niner fans, how are we doing? John Lynch, the GM, 49ers GM, just spoke to the media about an hour ago. I'm sure everybody has been picking it apart. I'm sure you've heard a lot of stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what he said with regards to Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and everything else in between. I'm going to drop a little intro. Let's get into it. What is going on? Happy Monday, Niner fans. I am excited because the draft is coming along. It is almost here. It is going to be here in just a few days, less than a week, Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. But today, more importantly, John Lynch addressed the media, and he had a lot to say. As we know, this weekend, Trey Lance basically said he's cleared, he's fully ready to go, which, as we've seen in his training videos, it's pretty evident that he's been fully cleared and everything. But he gave us that good piece of information that we were like, oh, okay, he's fully cleared. Now, today, John Lynch was asked about the quarterbacks. Of course, they didn't really care about the draft plan. Nobody cares about that. The media wants to know about the quarterback situation. And he got right into it, So the first big thing that he dropped today was that he confirmed that the 49ers have spoke to Trey Lance about a potential trade. He says, I was upfront with them. We've been honest. We spoke about it. He says that there's been good communication and the team is excited about Lance's opportunity to compete. He also says that Trey Lance, trade interest, all the rumors and stuff has been a lot of smoke. He says that, yes, there's been interest, but the amount of reports, the amount of teams may not be as high as everybody's saying. Yeah, so he's saying there's a lot of smoke involved with all the trades. He's saying that, yeah, people have called about Trey, but we're not sitting here saying that like 500 people have called about him and things like that. So he says you got to dial it down in terms of how many people have really called out about Trey. So, yeah, he says, again, I want to read this again. He says, regarding the interest reports, that there have been a lot of smoke. So again, he says there has been interest from other teams, but not particularly a big amount. So it's just, teams have called. They're doing their due diligence, and that's par for the course. So the other thing that he said about Trey Lance, and this was the big news I feel that I took away from it, is John Lynch says, I expect Trey Lance to be here in 2023. So he thinks Trey Lance will be on the 49ers roster in 2023. So that doesn't mean that they're going to trade him. He expects him to be here. Now, he did say, I want to add this on there because he did say that the 49ers, again, they have had some calls about Trey Lance and, there has been interest on other teams. Now, the thing he said about Trey Lance and whether he's going to stay or not, he goes, the offer has to be substantial enough for them to even consider moving him, So I think that was the big takeaway, and that's what we learned last week, right? This is something that we have been talking through the week, right? So he says his expectation is that Trey Lance will be on the roster. He acknowledged it would take a substantial offer for that position to change. So if the 49ers want to trade Trey Lance, or if a team wants Trey Lance, you got to make it worth their while. They're not just going to throw him away for literally pennies, So I kind of take it as that. That's kind of what it was in my eyes. So let's get to some of these comments. What's up, everybody? How's everybody feeling? Danielle says, Trey Lance is my guy. Purdy did amazing. Now we got to give Lance a shot. Danielle says, he will provide doubters wrong. Trust me, he will show why he was picked the number 3 overall. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that don't want to move away from Trey Lance. And I think the 49ers tonight have even said, look, we like Trey. We don't want to move him because he has potential. And they really are focused on making sure that their whole quarterback room is where it needs to be, right? They have 3 good quarterbacks in John Lynch's eye, right? So he says, this is what I want. I want to make sure the quarterback room is strong. He did talk about maybe some quarterbacks in the draft, and they got to do their due diligence in terms of making sure that, they don't just screw the situation again. The quarterback situation has been very, 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 what's the word? Frustrating over the last couple of years, right? With all the injuries. So, again, he did speak with Trey Lance. He says that let's recap here. He said he spoke with Trey Lance and he's kept him in the loop on trade talks. He says Lance's sole focus is competing and improving. And that's where Lance's mindset is. He doesn't care about the trade talks. Again, this weekend when he met with the media, he says, look, I don't even know about any of that. He's grinding. He's in the mindset of, I just want to go out there and compete. I don't care about anything else right now. Again, John Lynch said that the trade talks haven't really been that substantive. It's not like they're making any headway in trading him, and that his agent hasn't requested a trade, right? He expects Lance to be here. That's the big news, is you're getting all these reports from people saying they're going to trade Trey Lance. They're going to trade Trey Lance. Oh, they're going to trade Trey Lance. But there hasn't really been any substantial evidence. And that's what John Lynch is saying. He said, yeah, some people have called us, but the amount of reports saying they're going to trade him, it's a little bit overblown. He says it's smoke, right? So I think that's the biggest takeaways on Trey Lance and what he kind of said for that. And then he also says, a lot of it has to do with making sure this quarterback room is as strong as it can be. So speaking about this quarterback room, he talked about Brock Purdy, and he says, as far as I understand, he's on schedule. He's hitting all the checkpoints. So it seems like Brock Purdy's progressing very well. He says he's making good progress in his mind, just being where he is. He joked about the game this weekend when he was at Oracle Park watching the Giants game, and he raised his hand and he gave the high five, and he said, yeah, based on that, he looks good, right? It's a little joke. So it is good news to know that he feels that Brock Purdy right now is moving along well. But Trey Lance, again, he's out there, he's competing. They're going to give him that chance. And he also said that, hey, Sam Darnold's coming in, meeting with the players. He's picking up the offense. He's learning it. And he feels confident with all three quarterbacks. It's going to be a heck of a battle. A training camp's going to be fun, man. So good stuff, man. Again, overall, I don't sense that they're going to trade Trey Lance because it doesn't seem like they're getting big offers. They're not getting massive offers for Trey Lance. I think people are still wary. They don't know right now. And again, for John Lynch to move Trey Lance, they want a substantial offer in their mind, which would be substantial for them. I don't know what it is, but they want to make sure if they're going to trade a guy, they want to get good value. And I don't think they're going to get good enough value to just move him, according to what John Lynch is saying. So I think they're going to end up keeping him. And at the end of the day, you got to give this kid his opportunity. Like we've talked about, we've sat here for weeks. Everybody's been talking about give Trey the fair chance, give him the same offensive playbook. We know all that. Now he's just got to go out there and earn his keep. He's going to sit here on the roster. The team is giving him that opportunity to earn that respect, to earn that roster spot. So that's it. That's really what it is. So Randy says Trey just needs to go on a roll and he'll be back on that bike. I agree. And that's what it is. They're going to give him the opportunity and go out there, crush it, and they'll be in the palm of your hand, right? They'll be eating at the palm of your hand. I feel like that's the big takeaway, because normally I'm sitting here going, man, they got to give Trey his flowers. They got to put the stamp of approval on him. And today when I was watching this, I said, you know what? He needs to prove himself to John Lynch. That's what he wants. He just wants to go out. He needs to see Trey Lance go out there and prove him wrong. And well, maybe not necessarily prove him wrong, but just prove him that, like, yeah, okay, this is the guy we traded up to draft. This is that guy. Wow, this is him. And I think that's all John Lynch wants to see in Kyle Shanahan. They just want to see if it really is the guy. So they're going to give him the opportunity. He's not getting traded, and he's going to compete. So I think it's a win-win for everybody, because Trey Lance is going to go out there, compete, and they expect him to be on the roster in 2023. Now, if he doesn't look good, or if he fails, if he falls on his face, then you have Brock Purdy, and he'll be your savior. Now, the other key to this is he says 2023. He expects Trey Lance to be here in 2023. Doesn't mean he's going to be here in 2024. So now that will determine the future of Trey Lance. It doesn't mean that they're not going to trade him. Maybe they won't trade him this year, because they do have the whole situation with Brock Purdy coming back from injury. But then you have Brock Purdy. Let's say Trey Lance looks amazing, and you're like, oh, wow, if you're committed to Brock still, then you can trade Trey Lance, and his value is going to skyrocket. Or if he's not doing good and Brock Purdy's your guy, then next year you're just going to have to figure out a way to move on from Brock, and maybe another team will try to take him from you for a very cheap price. So that's kind of where they're going to be with that situation. But I think this, again, is a very, very good opportunity for Trey Lance to go out there and earn his keep, earn the respect, and earn that job. That's really what it is. And that's what they've been telling us for weeks. So There's always midseason trades. Exactly. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that they're going to trade him now. And I think they want to keep him because you don't know when Brock's coming back 100%. Although everything is going well with Brock Purdy. So, again, I think overall, it really isn't shocking because I think people are just going crazy. Oh my God, Trey Lance. Because people start making rumors up and then they roll with it because, yeah, the 49ers are receiving calls. And that's what we've known. That's what they said. Ian Rappaport blows this out of proportion. And yeah, John Lynch said, we've talked about it. We've heard it. We have reached calls. Like, I like the fact that he was up front with Trey Lance. He said this again. He confirmed that he has spoken to Trey Lance about a potential of trading him. They talked about it. They've been up front. They're not going to sit there and go about their day and not even tell Trey Lance. He's telling him, right? But again, and then when Trey Lance meets with the media, he said, I don't know. I don't know what any rumors. All he needs to know is John Lynch has talked to him and says, hey, look, people have called about you. We're not trading you. That's it. That's all John Lynch has probably told him, right? Behind the scenes. And you got Trey Lance going, okay, that's cool. There really isn't nothing else to know. There really isn't nothing else to know. What does the media want to know when they ask Trey Lance, are they going to trade you? Trey Lance doesn't know. He's focused on training. So again, Lynch says there's been good communication and the team is excited about Lance's opportunity to compete. So that's it, 100%. They've stated that they've received calls. They haven't got the offer they want, and they're going to let Trey Lance get his opportunity, and they're excited about it because I think they see how hungry Trey Lance is, how hard he wants to go out there and work and take this job. And that's it. That's really the situation. Nothing more, nothing less. So, what's up, everybody? Jimmy, what's up? Ryu, Ken, I love the name. Randy says Trey has a lot riding on his performance this season. He's expensive, and his contract is almost over. Definitely, third-round pick, or sorry, not third-round pick, the number 3 pick. It's an $8 million contract. I mean, that's what is he had like a $35 million contract over 4 years? Not a cheap contract. So yeah, he has a lot riding on this. You're absolutely right, Randy. So for himself, for his future, for this team, there's a lot riding on this. And the 49ers want to make sure they get it right, and they do him right. So Darren says it's nothing but smoke season right now. You're absolutely right, Darren. It's all smoke season, and that's what it's all about. And that's what today was. It was all smoke and mirrors, and that's what John Lynch told us. He says there were reports. It was funny when he said that. I laughed. He goes, that the Trey Lance trade interest rumors have been a lot of smoke. He said it. And I'm like, man, what do we say all the time on our podcasts, on people, content creators? Niner people, we're sitting here, we're saying it's smoke season. Well, not everybody, but I know I do. I'm sitting here telling you it's smoke season, it's smoke season, it's smoke season. And John Lynch said, it's a lot of smoke. Yeah, teams have called, but they're not blowing down the doors. And maybe he's doing smoke to us. Maybe it's John Lynch smoking us. Who knows? You don't know who to believe. You don't know what to believe because it's smoke season. We don't know what to believe, man. Oh, man. Alberto, he says they got to pick up BA's fifth-year option. Let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. Let's move on from the quarterback situation. Yes, so they did talk about Brandon Ayuk today. They did. That was the other big news. I thought today they were going to announce the fifth-year option for Brandon Ayuk. They asked specifically if they're going to trade. I think Grant Cohn asked if they're going to trade him. And to me, it doesn't sound like they're going to trade him. Although John Lynch wants to keep his cards, held close to his vest, and he didn't want to give out a lot of information. He says, "Yes, I'm going to leave it at this. That yeah, we want him on our team. We like Brandon Ayuk." This is what he said. He said, "We're trying to do something special this year, and Brandon Ayuk is going to be a part of that and beyond." He says that he's going to speak individually with Brandon Ayuk and Javon Kinlaw before the 49ers publicly announce if they pick up their fifth-year option. Fifth-year option is due next Monday. So they have a deadline, May 1st. That's the deadline. So they have to announce this information. But he said they need to focus on the draft, and he wants to meet with them individually. So my guess is they don't just want to sit there and I don't think John Lynch wants to hurt anybody's feelings because I think he's going to pick up Brandon Ayuk's fifth-year option, which he told us several weeks ago he will. I don't think they're going to pick up Javon Kinlaw, so I don't. And I get it. I know a lot of people think Javon Kinlaw's a bust, and I agree, and I feel bad for the guy, but I think they're really honest people, and they're good individuals, and they care about people and their feelings, and they genuinely like Javon Kinlaw, but they know it's a tough situation. I think they're going to sit there and have a heart-to-heart with Javon and say, hey, look, we really like you. We really respect you. We drafted you with high expectations. You haven't met those. We're not picking up your fifth-year option. And then they're going to go on the flip side and say, yo, BA, you're the man. We want you here. We love you. We know we got big plans for you. You need to continue to grind. You keep putting in a season like you did last year, and we're going to extend you to the moon. You're going to get the money like you want. I think that's what they're going to say. And then they'll announce Brandon Ayuk's fifth-year option. But to go out there and just, boom, throw it out there today and say, yeah, Brandon Ayuk, he get his fifth-year option, then people are going to be like, oh, what about Kinlaw? What about Kinlaw? I think he owes it to Kinlaw to have that conversation and just like talk to him before they make this news come out next week. So I feel like that's where they're at with that. It is a tough situation for Kinlaw, but I do think that Brandon Ayuk will be on the roster beyond this year. It's a financial, situation that they've got their stuff in because they do have to pay wide receiver. They do have to pay both wide receivers, Debo and Brandon, and that's going to be a tough situation, man. That's a tough situation. So they got to figure it out, and it starts with looking at the draft first, and then they can focus and say, okay, yeah, BA, you're coming back. Don't worry. You're part of our future. They know it. They know he is, but they got to figure out how they're going to extend him and Debo, and that's another conversation for another day. But I think they want to not take away from the draft this week. They want to really focus on this draft. And I think that's a classy way to do it. I think that's cool. Although he could have just sat there today and say, yeah, we're going to pick up the fifth-year option. Boom. But I think that this way is a little bit more classy because you have two players. And I think that's the biggest thing is you have two players. You want to kind of meet with them and give them that respect. So, yeah, the young Montana says good news all around. Trey and Ayuk staying and Purdy on schedule. It's really good news, actually. That's the best takeaway. That's the best way to look at it is, yeah, Trey's sticking around. We're going to give him his opportunity. Brandon Ayuk sticking around. They're going to pick up his fifth-year option, most likely. They'll announce it formally next week. And Brock Purdy's looking good, and he's on schedule. So there's nothing bad that's coming out of Ninerland right now. It's just the media gets bored, and they're looking for stuff to post and tear the team down. It's funny because John Lynch, he looked at the media, and I think Cam Inman asked him about Lamar Jackson. Would there be a potential of getting Lamar? And he goes, our team's in a, he goes, our team is always linked to all these rumors. They're always linked to all these teams. No matter what's in the news, he goes, the 49ers somehow are linked. He just laughed. He's like, it's just always teams that are linked to the 49ers, no matter if it's Lamar Jackson or anybody. So it's just funny because we are the team that is always just in everybody's mouths, man. It's crazy. Like the people always want to talk about the 49ers and link 49ers to, trade here, sign this guy, this player. It's crazy. It's just crazy how it goes. And John Lynch said that. It was kind of funny what they said about that. So, but yeah, speaking of Brandon Ayuk, I don't think he's going anywhere. It definitely sounds like, there's no intentions of getting rid of him. They just got to figure out how to keep him. Now, I was talking to some people, and there were some people that says, when let me pull up the exact words when John Lynch was talking about Brandon Ayuk, he kind of like paused a little, and he didn't want to like go into specifics. So he didn't want to go into the context of everything. So okay, this is it. So when John Lynch was asked about potentially moving Brandon Ayuk, right? He says we're trying to do something special, but he goes, that's all I'm going to say. He goes, I just want to say that we love Brandon and we're going to keep it at that. So he didn't want to like give too much information so then my friend was like, well, maybe he's saying that because they know there's a trade in the works and you don't want to like gas him up if you're going to trade him like a default situation. I just don't see any of that because again, they're saying that you were trying to do something special this year. Brandon's going to be part of those plans. Like you don't do anything special in my mind if you're the 49ers. If you get rid of Brandon Ayuk, it just makes no sense. Why would you get rid of him? You can't upgrade wide receiver right now. Brandon Ayuk would probably be better than any wide receiver coming out of the draft right now. The guy's on the verge of becoming all pro, a superstar. He was the fourth option, got 1,000 yards. There's just no way you trade Brandon Ayuk. I get it. He has value. I think teams would definitely call. And I think that's what he didn't want to mention because he did say, like with Trey Lance, it's a lot of smoke. But he says, I don't want to go into details about the context of Brandon Ayuk. I'm sure that they are breaking news. I'm sure that they wanted to go into I'm sure they didn't want to go into the details too much about Brandon Ayuk. Hold up. Oh, we got breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. Holy smokes. Breaking news. as we're talking, I saw the clip come up, but I wasn't sure. We got breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The Jets have just traded for Aaron Rodgers. Wow. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, pick number 15, and a 2023 fifth-round pick. The Packers get pick number 13, a 2023 second-round pick, which is number 42, a sixth-round pick, a conditional 2024 second, and that pick becomes a first if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays. Breaking news, Aaron Rodgers has just been traded to the New York Jets for Adam Schefter. Crazy. Crazy. Wow. 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 Unbelievable. Crazy. Shout out to that. They finally did it. They finally did it. They finally did it. Here it is. Breaking news. Crazy. Crazy. There's one quarterback that got traded is Aaron Rodgers. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, they did it. Crazy. Wow. Jets. They did it. We've been waiting on it. The Jets traded for Aaron Rodgers. Robert Salah, welcome to the playoffs. Jets, 49ers, Super Bowl. What do you think? Oh, my God. That is crazy. Woo! That's crazy. Anyways, wow. Yeah. That's big. Let's get back to Trey Lance, shall we? I don't know how you do I don't know how you move on from that. That pretty much squashes any 49ers trade to Aaron Rodgers. There it is, squash. No more 49ers and Aaron Rodgers rumors. Thank God. Let's get back to Trey Lance. So the way I look at it, again, overall, I just want to summarize this. The 49ers, basically, they are willing to trade Trey Lance. We're talking about Trey Lance and rumors. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers getting traded. Let's talk about Trey Lance. The 49ers are absolutely looking to trade him if the price is right. And I think that was the overall theme that we have to take away is, yes, they fielded calls. It's not a lot. But if the 49ers want to trade Trey Lance, it has to be for the right price. And I don't think they're getting that price, right? I don't think they're getting that price. And that's why they're going to keep him. Because, again, John Lynch says that, yes, they've fielded rumors. They've got it, or they fielded calls, whatever. It's not as much as everybody is saying. So that to me, that tells me that, yes, the 49ers would trade Trey Lance if the value is right, if the trade compensation is right. But I don't think they're even getting that. So they're going to welcome him back, let him compete, and let the best man win. That's it. That really is it. So, whew. Randy says now it'll be Brady. Check on Jake. Yeah. Oh, my phone's going crazy. I can't believe it. We definitely are going to be talking about this later today. I don't even, man, it's going crazy. But no more rumors with Aaron Rodgers to the 49ers. You can finally squash that mumbo jumbo. That's it. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, man. We're going to be live a little later. I just want to come in and share my initial thoughts with Trey Lance and Brock Purdy and all those rumors and everything, how it's kind of hit the fan and the way that John Lynch, spoke with the media and just kind of get my thoughts out there. We're going to be live a little bit later. I'll hit y'all up a little bit more on Instagram later, but I'm going to go eat some food, and we'll be back a little bit live later. Appreciate you.